All right, so today we're diving into something super practical
Mm.
and, let's be honest, super delicious, quick and easy keto breakfasts.
Perfect for those busy mornings when you want to stay on track but don't necessarily have a ton of time.
Exactly. And, I was feeling a little stuck in a breakfast rut, so I asked you to take a look at a bunch of stuff for me.
Yeah, you sent over a ton of YouTube videos from keto recipe creators and some blog posts with all sorts of low-carb breakfast ideas.
Tons of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really hoping we could kind of break down, the best tips and tricks from all of that.
Absolutely happy to dive in.
So let's paint a picture for our listeners.
All right.
Okay? It's 7 a.m. You're trying to get everyone ready for the day.
And you're also trying to, stick to your keto goals.
Right. And the last thing you want is to start your day feeling hungry or deprived.
Definitely not setting yourself up for success.
So how do we make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, I think these sources really highlighted that it's all about having a plan.
Okay, a plan. So what does that look like?
Well, for starters, it means having those go-to keto breakfast staples on hand.
Like what kind of staples?
The essentials: eggs, cheese, bacon, avocado almond flour, coconut flour.
Okay, so those are like the building blocks for keto breakfast success.
Exactly. Having those ingredients ready to go in your kitchen takes the guesswork out of those busy mornings.
I like that. No more staring blankly into the fridge wondering what to eat.
Exactly. And when you look at all these recipes, those ingredients just pop up again and again.
I really do. It's like they're the foundation of a good keto breakfast. Why do you think that is?
Well, it all comes back to those core keto principles, right? High
Yeah.
fat, moderate protein, and very low in carbohydrates.
Right, it's all about keeping those carbs low, so your body burns fat for fuel instead.
And those ingredients we mentioned, they just naturally fit that bill.
So stocking up on those is like setting yourself up for success in the morning.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so we got our keto staples, but what about those mornings when you barely have time to breathe, let alone cook a gourmet breakfast?
Oh, I know those mornings all too well.
I mean, is there anything faster than just skipping breakfast altogether?
Well, hopefully we can give you some better options than that.
Okay, I'm all ears.
There's always the classic bulletproof coffee.
That's a good one.
It doesn't get much easier than blending some coffee with MCT oil and butter.
And it's surprisingly filling.
Right. It's a great way to get a quick dose of healthy fats and energy first thing.
Totally. But what if you want something a little more substantial, something that feels like, real food?
I hear you. And I think that's where some of these recipes get really creative.
Oh, to go.
So one of the YouTubers you sent, Olivia Wiles, she has this recipe for keto cream of wheat.
Wait, keto cream of wheat, isn't cream of wheat like loaded with carbs?
It is traditionally, but her recipe uses ricotta cheese as the base.
Ricotta cheese.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's brilliant, actually. Ricotta is high in fat and has that creamy texture, so it's surprisingly similar to cooked cream of wheat.
So you get that comforting, warm breakfast bowl experience without the carb overload.
That's amazing. I never would have thought to use ricotta like that.
It's a great example of how you can really reimagine classic dishes with a keto twist.
So we've covered the super quick options, but sometimes you just crave something a little more savory.
Absolutely. And that's where eggs really come in handy.
Eggs are a lifesaver for those savory breakfast cravings.
Right. And they're a keto staple, too, packed with protein and so versatile.
I mean, you can do so much with them: omelets, frittatas, egg muffins.
The possibilities are really endless.
And speaking of exciting egg recipes, I noticed one of the recipe creators you sent, Joe Duff, had this recipe for a cheesy breakfast pizza quesadilla.
Oh, yeah. That one's a winner.
It's like pizza for breakfast, but keto-friendly.
He uses an egg life wrap as the base
Uh.
and loads it up with all the cheesy pizza goodness you could want.
Genius. It's all about finding those ways to satisfy those cravings without kicking yourself out of ketosis.
Exactly.
Which brings me to my next question. What about those cravings for classic breakfast treats,
It's like pancakes and waffles.
Yes, those things that are usually off limits on keto.
It's funny you should mention that because a lot of these creators seem to be on a mission to keto-fy those classic comfort foods.
Oh, really? So it is possible to have pancakes and waffles on keto.
Absolutely. You just need to swap out those high-carb ingredients for keto-friendly alternatives.
What?
Instead of traditional flour, you'll see recipes using almond flour, coconut flour, even things like psyllium husk or flaxseed meal.
Okay, so that takes care of the flour, but what about the sweetness? I mean, pancakes without syrup just feel wrong.
Don't worry. There are tons of sugar-free sweeteners that work beautifully in keto baking.
Like what?
Erythritol monk, fruit stevia, they all add sweetness without the carbs and blood sugar spikes.
So you're telling me I can have my keto pancakes and eat them too?
Pretty much. And that's just the beginning. There are recipes for keto cinnamon rolls using cream cheese and mozzarella to get that doughy texture.
Wow, that's amazing. It sounds like you can really have it all on keto.
I think that's what these creators are trying to show us.
I'm definitely feeling inspired to get creative in the kitchen.
Me too. And I think that's the best takeaway from all of this. It's about finding what works for you and getting excited about those keto breakfast possibilities.
Exactly. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from keto staples to quick options to those creative recipes that satisfy those cravings.
And I think it's safe to say that keto breakfast doesn't have to be boring.
Not at all.
Hmm?
In fact, it sounds like it can be pretty darn delicious.
I'd say so. You know, one thing that really stood out to me as we were going through all these recipes
Yeah.
was just how much variety there is when it comes to keto breakfasts.
It's true. It's not all bacon and eggs.
Right. Like you don't have to be stuck in a rut.
Exactly. I was a little worried about that at first.
And I think a lot of people have that misconception.
But these creators are coming up with some really interesting flavor combinations.
Totally. Like they're taking those basic keto ingredients we talked about and turning them into something completely unexpected.
Give me an example.
Okay, so Jolene from Yummy Inspirations, she has this recipe for garlic-infused mushrooms with fried eggs.
Oh, that sounds right up my alley. I love garlic.
It's simple, but so flavorful.
Sometimes simple is best.
Exactly. And it's a good reminder that you don't need a ton of fancy ingredients to make a delicious keto meal.
Totally.
Yeah.
But what about something a little more unconventional? You know, I'm always up for trying new things.
Okay, I think I have just the thing.
All right, lay it on me.
So Joe Duff, remember the Keto Quesadilla King?
Oh, yeah, he's the best.
He has a recipe for a peanut butter and jelly quesadilla.
Wait, what? Peanut butter and jelly and a quesadilla.
I know it sounds crazy, but
Is that even keto-friendly?
it is. He uses a low-carb tortilla, alternative sugar-free jelly, and natural peanut butter.
So it's like a childhood classic, all grown up and keto approved.
Exactly.
I am so there for that.
It's a really fun one.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from keto staples to quick options to creative recipes. But I think it's time to talk about something that's super important for anyone who wants to make keto a sustainable lifestyle.
Okay, what's that?
Meal prepping.
Yes. Meal prepping is a game changer.
Especially if you're busy and don't have a lot of time to cook every day.
It's all about setting yourself up for success.
Right. And I know a lot of people think that meal prepping has to be complicated or time-consuming.
It really doesn't.
But it can be if you let it.
True. But there are definitely ways to keep it simple.
Like what?
Well, one of the blogs you sent, Kellen's Kitchen, she had a whole section dedicated to keto breakfast meal prep.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
And she had some really good tips.
Like what?
One of her biggest recommendations is to make a big batch of something on the weekend
Okay.
that you can enjoy throughout the week.
So things like egg muffins, breakfast casseroles, chia pudding,
Exactly. Those are all perfect for meal prep.
and you can customize them with your favorite ingredients.
Absolutely. You can add different veggies, cheeses, meats. The possibilities are endless.
And it's a great way to use up leftovers, too.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of leftovers,
Yes.
I remember Jolene from Yummy Inspirations had a tip about repurposing dinner leftovers for breakfast.
I think I remember that.
She uses leftover roast lamb and cauliflower to make a breakfast skillet.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's so smart.
And it's a great way to save time and money.
Totally. Who doesn't love a 2-for-1 meal?
Seriously.
Yeah.
So we've covered meal prepping, but I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Okay, what's that?
Variety.
Oh, yes, variety is key.
It's what keeps things interesting and prevents you from getting bored with keto.
And it's not just about trying different recipes.
Right.
It's about making sure you're getting a wide range of nutrients from different food sources.
So every meal is an opportunity to nourish your body.
With healthy fats, protein, and essential vitamins and minerals.
Okay, so how can we make sure we're getting enough variety in our keto breakfasts?
One way is to think about different protein sources.
Okay, so not just eggs.
Right. We've talked about eggs, but there's also bacon sausage, smoked salmon, even leftover meats from dinner.
Good point. Mix it up.
Exactly. And don't forget about veggies.
Oh, veggies are important.
They had flavor, fiber, and nutrients.
And there are so many delicious low-carb options.
Spinach, mushrooms, bell peppers, onions, tomatoes.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about all the possibilities.
Me too. And that's the beauty of keto.
It's not about restrictions. It's about finding creative and delicious ways to fuel your body and feel your best.
Exactly.
And I think we've done a pretty good job of uncovering some of those creative and delicious ways in this deep dive. So we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From quick and easy options to meal prepping and even, those really creative recipes.
It's amazing how much is out there.
Right. It seems like the possibilities are really endless when it comes to keto breakfasts.
I think that's what makes it so sustainable. You're not stuck eating the same thing every day.
Yeah, I was definitely feeling that way before we started this deep dive.
I think we all get into those ruts sometimes.
But seeing all these ideas from different creators, it's like this whole new world has opened up.
Right. And you realize that you can still enjoy all those comforting breakfast flavors?
Exactly. It's just about finding those keto-friendly swaps.
Like that ricotta cream of wheat.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Who would have thought?
Right. Or those cheesy breakfast quesadillas.
Seriously, genius.
And it's not just about the recipes themselves, it's about the community too.
Absolutely. There's this whole network of people out there who are sharing their tips and tricks and supporting each other.
It's like we're all on this journey together, figuring out how to make keto work for us.
And celebrating those wins along the way.
Exactly. Because let's be honest, it's not always easy.
It's definitely a commitment.
But when you find those recipes that you truly love and that fit into your lifestyle, it's so worth it.
It really is. And I think that's what this deep dive has been all about.
Finding that inspiration and that motivation to keep going.
Right. Because keto isn't just about weight loss.
It's about feeling your best.
Having energy focus and just overall feeling good in your body.
Exactly. So as we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with a little challenge.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
If you could create your absolute dream keto breakfast, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Maybe it's a keto version of a childhood favorite or something totally new that you've never tried before.
It's like giving yourself permission to get creative in the kitchen.
Exactly. And to really think about what makes you excited about breakfast.
Because food should be enjoyable, right?
Absolutely. It shouldn't feel like a chore or a punishment.
It should be something that you look forward to.
So as you go about your day, let that question simmer in the back of your mind. What would your dream keto breakfast be?
And maybe you'll be inspired to try something new.
Or even create your own signature keto breakfast recipe.
That would be awesome.
And if you do, be sure to share it with the keto community.
Because that's what it's all about. Sharing ideas, supporting each other, and making this journey a little bit more delicious.
Couldn't said it better myself. So until next time, happy ketoing, everyone.
Happy ketoing.